Vincent alongside, enjoying himself co-driving in that car this weekend. But it had the snorkel on, it had the spot lamp pods on last night. It really did look the business. As Phil Bramwell said to me yesterday, it comes from an era when we used to play rally car games. Remember Rally Championship on PC? And we used to wonder why the Mitsubishi and the Proton looked exactly the same. And what a treat to see it out in competition, or at least in a competitive looking environment here at the Historic Rally Festival. There's the N14 Group N Impreza of Richard Barrow, Courtney Barrow alongside. It was built in 2010 from a new Pro Drive shell by Teg Sport. Richard bought it 8 years ago, and he has competed in that car, but his first rally was in a Mark II RS 2000 in the 1994 City of Truro Rally, a long way from here. Another driver who's been enjoying throwing the car around. Now you know, I love a good Escort Cosworth, and they don't come much more proper than this. The Group N Shell Helix car, which, if you are a fan of the sport like me, you will remember. Johnny Milner. Listen to that. Johnny Milner, Nicky Beach used to compete in that very car. Anti-lag, turned up to the max, anti-lag, with a stately home backdrop, popping and banging its way through these stately home roads here on the Apley estate. That is what I'm talking about. That was lovely, wasn't it? Nigel Hepburn, Alan Wilson. Nigel, very well known in club rallying, started in 2005 in Corsas and Astras, but he's got so many cars on his rally car CV, including a Chevette HSR and a Metro 6R4. Still drives a 6R4, actually. It was out on the festival, Hosneo and Eiffel Rally Festival. Honestly, if you said to me, Paul, which one do you want me to bring out, the Escort Cosworth or the Metro 6R4? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't be able to make that decision. I'd have to toss a coin. Not a bad choice to have, though, is it? I mentioned the Hyundai Coupe Formula 2 of Andy Waldridge. Well, here it is. Looks just like the Formula 2 car that Alistair McRae drove. Kenneth Eriksson as well. Back in its works days. It's actually a recce car built by MSD, who built the works cars, and it was used by Alistair McRae. It was used in Australia, among other events, in the 1999 season. It was the 2-litre Cup, if you remember, for Formula 2 cars. Again, another category. Andy's an example of a driver who built that car for shows and light demonstrations, then got the bug and has actually done some competitive events in it, which I absolutely love. Paul Davey alongside, who's been seen many times on our coverage here on the professional stage on the BTRDA and others. As you can hear, with the stately home road here just at the start of the Apley stage being very gravelly, some of the cars set up a bit low, like Trevor Hancock and Fraser Gillen's TR7 V8, just catching the guards on the gravel on the centre of the stage. But it sounds more dramatic than it actually is. But the demo events here, the beauty of which means that people can go at their own speed and pace and just back things off on the rougher bits. These roads freshly prepared for this weekend, but this is the first time these events have ever hosted a rally like this. So there will always be some learning to do, but I've got a feeling we're going to see big things from this estate and these events in the future. Stu Wood, Kev Wilson pulling all the way in that EP3 Civic. It was built in Ireland in 2006, that car, used on multiple tarmac events and Targas as well since then, but finally returned to stage rallying this season. A driver who, like Trevor Hancock that we saw in the TR7 V8, started his career in a historic Mini. Stu Wood, a decade before Trevor, though, started on the 1991 Tour of Lynx. Some unusual rally cars on his CV as well, including a Mini Estate, which I presume will be the Mini Clubman in the late 90s, and even a Wolseley 1500. That was my dad's first car. Big wide banded steel wheels and hot rod accessories. Unusual rally car to see on somebody's CV, though. I'll tell you what, can we think of anything more iconic than this? A 555 livery Group A Subaru Impreza with a stately home setting. It's almost 1995 again, isn't it? As Phil Owen and Charlie Mason send the shivers down our spines and set the hairs on the back of our necks up on end and rekindle some magic. If you're a late 30s, 40-something like me, falls to the latter bracket, unfortunately, then that's the era. Standing in stately homes like Bramham Park, Tatton Park, Clumber Park, watching cars like that, and cars like the Escort Cosworths popping and banging their way through the stage on these gravel roads that make up these wonderful English heritage stately homes. So good to be here on the Aptley estate for the historic Rally Festival. A demo event with a difference. There's a man with Mark Watkins alongside with a thumb up outside the slider. He's enjoying his weekend. Steve Harkness, a man who normally is sorting out tyres for competitors, has the Pirelli deal for UK rallies, and has a fine collection of very sideways rally cars, BMW E30 M3, a Corolla AE86, and that Belga replica, faithful recreation of Robert Droogman's Belga car from those iconic days. And Steve has been driving that thing just like I'm sure Robert Droogman would have done all weekend, sideways at every opportunity, stepping off the clutch on the start line, as you saw there. Mark alongside a rally instructor at Rally Rides. Brilliant place to go and get your rally car fixed. Rallyschool.co.uk, and you can drive rally cars from the age of 8 with a dual controlled car and experienced instructors alongside. Mark, also an actor, was on the BBC soap Doctors for many seasons. It's an unusual car and a great guy driving it. The Fiat Ritmo, driven by Michael Coville, Chris Coville alongside. Now, it was built mainly for sprint and hill climbs in European events. The Ritmo was actually the Fiat Strada in the UK. Remember the Strada Abarth? You won't have seen many because they took about a week to rust away. But it's rear-wheel drive. It runs an Alpha 3-litre V6 engine. It's done lots of these types of events. And we built a Delta S4 back in the day, which appeared on our standard rally day, probably about 13 years ago or something like that. He's actually building another one, so expect to see a Lancia Delta S4 Group B car on this event next year. Mick assures me it's going to happen. This wide track Nova SR was home built from a standard car in 2010. It's got a 1400 or a 1399 cc Ecotec 16-valve engine, and Darren Roberts with Paul Redford alongside has been using all of that 1400 power this weekend. The first demo event for Darren and for this Nova. Started competing in 2011 on the Lincoln Green stages. He came second in class and 16th overall in that Nova. It's not bad, is it? He's got a couple of class wins to his name as well. And he did do the opening round of the Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship this year. The legend fires Northwest stages, but he's just been here to enjoy himself and showboat for the spectators, as has this man. This car used to be a pristine show car, and I never thought David would really get it properly dirty, but you know what? He did a few of these events and then he got the bug, and he does competitive rallies in this Escort Cosworth now. Again, going back to the proper Group A, change over to WRC days, and doing a bit of a Colin McRae as well up on the grass bank to avoid the gravel on the middle of the stage there. David Bonning, Ross James in that tribute to Carlos Sainz. That Repsol livery is beautifully done. You might expect that given his business is DMB Graphics and does do graphics for rally cars among many others, but he's been really enjoying himself. Did his first competitive event, as I say, in the Escort earlier this year. The Agbo stages, came 23rd overall, won his class as well, but that'll be going because Weston Park are no longer going to be hosting any events whatsoever, as I've just found out. So perhaps the Agbo stages needs a new home, and perhaps a stately home venue that has just thrown its hat into the ring, hosting a very good and very spectacular Historic Rally Festival would be a good contender for that seat. Let's see what happens. I'm just surmising, by the way. I don't know anything about that. I'm just putting two and two together and getting an answer that I quite like the sound of. David Turner, Jamie Turner alongside have been loving life the last couple of days in that car. It's a Cosworth YB powered Group 4 Mark II Escort. That car last competed on the Manx 10 years ago. He's done some work in the Netherlands as well. Dave started rallying in 2009 in a Peugeot 205 GTI. He switched in year 2 to a Vauxhall Astra and did the PokerStars and a whole fleet of Manx events the following year. Imagine that, year 2, and you're straight out onto the Manx lanes. They've been doing the Historic Rally Festival for a couple of years now. This is their third. A number of these drivers have supported the event from its inception. This is the 4th event, and Warner Lewis absolutely lives and breathes this event and the sport in general. Prepares Group A Celikas for a wide variety of clients, including Jari-Matti Latvala and Mark Uelen. But not only does he organise this event, he's out, and we're going to see him next in his Group A Celica GT4. But there's Mike Barrett, Megan Barrett alongside in the Sunbeam Talbot Lotus, the Group 2 car, built in 2007 by ex-Mitsubishi Rally Art engineer Dave Dyer. It's been extensively rallied in Europe since being purchased by them as well. Mike has a fantastic rally car CV as well. Started in the late 90s in a Lotus Cortina, the days of the Historic Rally Challenge, if you remember that. But listen to this. Warner Lewis is going to have this. He's going to have this Celica wound up. Max anti-lag. Had a problem with the diff last night. Had to go back to the workshop, which is about 40 minutes away from here. Changed the diff on that Celica GT4. But now you're going to get a real sight and sound of Group A. He's sidestepped the clutch. He's got the revs up. And this is what the Historic Rally Festival is all about. That's the man who has brought this dream to life. And there he is, demonstrating it in fine glory with the anti-lag turned up to absolute max on that Group A Celica. The car that delivered my birthday cake on last year's Historic Rally Festival. Anthony Hitchens alongside. It was originally works parts fitted to a reshell in 2006. It's a well-known car in the UK and in Europe. It's been driven by Jari-Matti Latvala and Mark Uelen as well. While Warner Lewis has owned that, the boss here. Used to be involved very heavily in Rally Day back in the day as well. But whether you've enjoyed a little bit of a flavour of the action here live on Special Stage, or whether you've been here at the festival here at the Apley Estate or the Willey Estate here in Shropshire this year, you have to just have a nod of appreciation for what Warner Lewis has done here. What a sight and what a sound that is. Martin Roberts, David Shipton in the Group 4 Audi Quattro, a homage to Michelle Mouton and her 1982 Monte Carlo rally car. It's in the right livery. It was built in 2011 in Ireland. Martin's only just bought the car, but he said the engine's just been rebuilt, and he said it's absolutely on song. Martin's first event here, hopefully a new regular attendant to the Historic Rally Festival, said that parts of the stage were a little bit rough for the Audi because it was in full Monte Carlo tarmac trim. But that's, again, the beauty of the event. It's not timed, it's not competitive. The spectators are out in force in a different part of the estate where you can showboat, where it isn't quite as rough. So you can drive the stage your way. I do a lot of rallies, as you know. I knew what I was getting with the Historic Rally Festival, having done it last year, but I didn't know quite how it would go with a new format and a new venue. As you see, Craig Pennington and Wayne Priest in the Proto VW Polo WRC. Car now better known in Europe, having been banned from competition in the UK, the first version of the Proto cars. But yeah, didn't know what I was quite going to get this weekend with these new venues, nor did the competitors, or the exhibitors, I suppose I should say, but they have had a ball, and so have I. Genuinely, this has been a very special event to be a part of and to be able to tell the story of, with a little bit of live action here on Special Stage. But the true key to these events is getting up and smelling and seeing and feeling the cars for yourself. So we've tried to focus on the on-event, and we will be putting a feature out afterwards as well. But Louise Aitken-Walker and I have been commentating during the event here on the Appley estate as well. Here's a very special car. On the logbook, it says Peugeot 206 World Rally Car. It's Neil Brighton and Peter Fidalgo, and it is the shell that Peugeot used to homologate the 206. You may remember the 206 road car was a bit too short and stubby, so they had to put bigger bumpers on it, and they had to get a shell to homologate the car. That's the shell that Peugeot built. Neil got hold of the shell and has basically built the 206 World Rally Car underneath it, and has had it logbooked and checked to the finest details to make sure that it does comply with everything that a works 206 WRC would, and it does, and it has been given the nod of approval, and it is technically a 206 World Rally Car. How amazing. Neil said to me yesterday, he saw Gronholm in that car. He knew he'd never be able to afford a 206 World Rally Car and probably never get the opportunity to purchase one either. So he had to build one, and he had to find a good starting point. I'd say the homologation shell is a very good starting point indeed, isn't it? A fabulous story, a wonderful car to see on the stage, as is that, the Audi Quattro S1 of Phil Welton and John Shepherd. They've competed in various events, demonstration events, including Goodwood from 1999. It's recently been recommissioned with the engine producing somewhere near the 400 brake horsepower it would have had it been a full works car back in the day. Another man here who is part of the organising team at the Historic Rally Festival, does a lot of the marketing and media work and helps Warner with the organisation, and also, as you can see, drives the car himself, and you'll see him drive it properly as well, because he's another example of a driver who came out and did demonstration events and then decided, you know what, I'm going to get it mucky. Came to Cadwell Park for the first time, did Dan Elmore, and took the car to a school with me to show some school kids a Group B car, which was just a fantastic thing to be a part of. That's what we should do with these cars. But he was so fastidious. If it rained, it was the sort of car that would stay in the garage. But he got the bug, and he has now done some competitive events in that 6R4. And it's just howling its way around the Appley estate here on the Historic Rally Festival. It's also starred on Car SOS and on Top Gear. It's got a list of famous drivers, not least the Stig. And you know what, I'm going to give you a scoop. I'm probably not allowed to do this, but Ryan Champion was the Stig, former British Rally Championship driver, and current driver as well, and does a lot of co-driving in the Tuttle Porsches at the moment. But yeah, he was the Stig in that Metro 6R4 with Top Gear no longer on. Can't tell you how I found that out. It wasn't from Dan Elmore, I'll tell you that. He was very tight-lipped on me. He was gutted when he knew I'd found out. There's the Audi Quattro S1 of Andy Crinks with Lorraine Nixon alongside. It's a recreation of an S1 Quattro with a modern twist, and those two were just buzzing yesterday when we went down to the meet and greet and had a close-up look around the cars. Disappointingly, this morning I'm not going to be able to show you the Lancia 037, but if you check our coverage out from yesterday, you will see it on there. And what a sight and sound that was. And I finally got to sit in an 037 as well and feel what it must have felt like to be a Marco LN or Henry Toivonen and win the 83 World Rally Championship. What a selection of cars, and what a story that this event is creating for us. The Europeans are starting to take notice, and I'm pretty sure that the Historic Rally Festival is now going to go from strength to strength in this new home of the Appley estate and the Willey estate. That's it for our live coverage from the event, but if you can get down here, if you're not too far away, do book tickets online at historicvalleyfestival.com and get yourself down here to Telford and just experience some of these cars for yourself in a stately home setting, because it is a preserve that we thought had been long lost to rallying. It's back. And so is the Historic Rally Festival. Thank you so much to Warner Lewis and the team for allowing us to be a part of this. And well done to all of the competitors who have put a spectacular show on for the crowds. And there were crowds here and have been all weekend at the Appley estate. For now, that's it from us, but we'll see you very soon with some more live rallying coming up here on Special Stage.